Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 147 of Game My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, who's tripping out in a mall today with me tonight.
I am the pyramid-headed representation of your own guilt and brutality, Kenneth Sanity.
And I am the king of useless knowledge, Joe Butler. And who keeps putting all these moonstones in my walnuts?
Okay. Also, before we go too far, I do want to mention that we will have a giveaway in this episode. I've been doing a giveaway every episode because I have a bunch of Steam codes, so listen for that about hopefully midway through, as long as I don't forget again and have to edit afterwards. And also, we do have a Patreon poll going on right now. This is the last day, if you're hearing this, the day it released, to go vote in that poll for the psychic pilot test. What show we're going to watch? Psych, Monk. I can't remember. Veronica Mars. It doesn't matter. It's going to be Psych at this point. So, but go vote, please. Go sign up for $1. And
Go vote for Psych.
Yes, please, because that's one I want to watch anyway. So
you always forget the last one too. It's funny.
I can't remember what it was anymore.
It's the Mentalist.
Yeah, nobody's voted for. I mean, I only had a few votes this month. And we are here for because you are hearing this on. If you listen to this day, it's coming out on Halloween, and as seems to become a favorite of this show, is we tend to do one Silent Hill game a year, and it was time to do Silent Hill 3 this week, which was developed by Konami, came out in 2003. Yeah, that's what.
God.
So first, I should say how we all played this, and there are different ways to play this game. I played the PS2 version on my PC. What about you guys?
I streamed the Silent Hill HD collection available on PlayStation Now. I do have the actual disc for that for PS3, but I didn't bother to hook my PS3 up. And I have it on PS2, and I didn't bother to hook my PS2 up.
Oh man, but the PS2 is the best way to play it. I was gonna make a joke about playing it on my Xbox, but I emulated it too.
I own the PS2 copy, and I own 2 copies of the HD collection, one for PS3 and one for 360.
Okay, so you have one good one and one useless one. Got it.
But I own it. That's all. It's just there for the collection.
Which one's useless?
The Xbox 360 one never received a patch that the PS3 one did.
That's what it was. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I heard about that.
Because they didn't want to pay, I'm pretty sure.
Also, the third one's the only good one for the HD collection. 2, they tried to put too many changes into it and just ruin most of the story.
Agreed.
I have thoughts on 2.
I love 2. I like 2 more than this one, but this one's still a pretty good game.
So I had actually played this, not when it came out, but back in like 2005, I think. Around that time, I had beaten 2 for the first time, and I had loaded up 3, and I'm like, I want to play 3. And I got into the beginning of it, and you start out with a pocket knife. And when I realized you couldn't just knock down people like you can in 2 with a pipe really easy, I fell off the game and got scared and never picked it up again until this week.
Back when I turned 17, 18, I was allowed to buy horror movies, and with a very special Christmas card, I bought a whole bunch of horror movies, including Silent Hill, and I watched it with my sister, and she was able to convince her dad to buy all the games off eBay. He dropped like $300.
Damn.
Yeah, she got the original PS1 Silent Hill. She got Silent Hill 2 and then traded that in at GameStop to get the, because this is back when 2010, 2011, so you can still buy PS2 games. She constantly went back and forth trying to get the perfect greatest hits version of Silent Hill 2. So she got all.
Oh yeah, because that one has that episode that's not worth playing.
Yeah, but it also has a bunch of other stuff added to it too.
Oh, okay. Oh, this game is not cheap, by the way, on eBay right now.
Oh no, it's not. Especially during Halloween.
That's like $150. People are selling for $200. Like, there's a bunch of things on here for Silent Hill 3 right now. But hey, the HD collection's only $26.
It's $7 on sale for Xbox right now.
It's worth it. $7.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay more than $5 for this game, but $7's good enough.
So Silent Hill 3 is just, I know it's supposed to be the end of the series. And the thing, which is not, of course, but the thing about it also is that it's a sequel to 1, which I knew a little bit about it, but I knew very little of this game going in. Like, I've heard things throughout, people talking about it. I made the mistake of not turning off the filter, so the game was really blurry on my PS2 emulator. Plus, I have the settings lower. I didn't tweak the settings. I just didn't care. I'm like, I'm not a big into graphics. I'm like, I'm just going to play the game the way that the game is. But then as I watched videos later on, I found out that mine was actually a lot uglier than it should have been. So I was a little upset. But
It's okay, Mike. I finally learned my lesson after being on your podcast for like the 5th, 6th time. I have now learned my lesson to play these games on easy because I stressed myself out and beat the game with like almost zero ammo.
well, when you do the show and you have to beat the game in a week, or in a case like for other people are not every show, you have a couple weeks that you start it. It's a whole different thing when you have a deadline waiting for you versus like if you're like, I'm just going to play this over time. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I play on easy because even before this show, I like to beat games and move on to the next game, and easy makes that much easier.
Normally, this is where I would laugh at you, but I also played on easy, both action and riddles, because I beat this game when it first came out. I did the extra plus game. You know, I don't need to do that again. I've done it. It's time to move on.
So this is your first time playing the game since back then?
It's the first time actually replaying it since the HD collection came out. Because when that came out, that was a day one purchase for me. And I played through 2 and 3 like right away. Within 3 days, I beat them both. Then went back and got extras and all that fun stuff.
Okay.
But this was also a day one the original Silent Hill 3 was a day one purchase for me.
So this game is shorter, I think, than the others. Like it's
A lot
It
shorter.
is.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Personally, I do not complain when a game is shorter when I do this show, and I'm like, you know what, that's wonderful. But I know that was one of the complaints people had, but I felt that the game was long enough. It didn't overstay its welcome for me. It didn't feel padded. It was just there, and I was happy with that.
One of the things that made 2, the reason why people say 2 is longer is because 2 has a lot of replay value. This one, I think replaying it at least a second time is worth it because there is small changes throughout the game. And there is also a completely alternate ending, which I think I've seen people argue that is actually the true ending to the game, but I don't believe it. So
For this one or for 2?
for 3.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I didn't replay 2 or replay 3, and I have no intention to either, but that's me. That's just how I am. I don't replay games usually, except when it's a podcast recording.
I think these games are fun to go back to. Like, this is probably my 5th playthrough of 3. Just, I love this world. I love the sound design. I love the music. This is very much my key aesthetic.
The music to these games are honestly like the main reason why they've had such a hard time remastering and bringing them back and everything, because even going into like, what is it, Homecoming, I even think Book of Memories still has, yeah. Book of Memories in Zero. Zero has actually a really good soundtrack too. All of them except for Downpour have what is it, Akira Yamaoka?
Yep.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that music, those games would not be good.
But I gotta tell you, Downpour, the soundtrack was actually good for. I enjoyed it.
Did you like the ending with Korn?
I really want to play Downpour like bad one day on this show.
Oh, that game's so bad.
Oh, I know, but that's why I want to play it.
I don't think it's that bad.
I want to
Homecoming's
play the
better.
entire series.
It's better
And
than
I'm working
Homecoming.
through it.
I like Homecoming.
We played
Not a
1, Origins, 2, and then now this on the show
Wait.
so far.
Oh, you played Origins on the show? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That way I can reference Origins. My biggest issue with all the Silent Hill games is they really should have followed the plot for 3 with the cult stuff for future games. But I always hate how Origins and pretty much every other game is just trying to rip off 2 because they're always
Yep.
trying to catch that really good twist at the end of 2 that just can't be redone ever.
No, it was a one-time thing, and that this game didn't do that. When I went into this game first, I thought it was going to be a lot like 2, and what threw me off, like the intro of this game is you wake up and the game just starts off, you're in an amusement park in the other world, and you have no idea what the hell's going on. The game told you nothing of really how to play it. You're just here.
There's a little area you can walk around in.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a
it's not like
Start
Resident Evil
game.
it fucked with me. I mean, I was like, what the hell? And I remember, and this is when I've seen memes of this game all over over time. This is where you see a lot of those bunnies, the bunny suits that have blood all over them and everything from the carnival,
Yeah.
which I don't know why they're there. I always thought one was going to come up and chase me or something, but one never did. I mean, you see that, you walk around, and then, I mean, I went through it and got to the end part because I was using a guide that told me what to do every step, but I know that if you die, it's okay to die in this part. The game just keeps going where it's going.
Yep.
So the other reason why you guys got the chance to, which happened to me way later in the game, but only happened to me once, on a normal and hard mode, you can fall to your death on those train tracks and everywhere else where there's not a catch.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's just insta-kill, and it could ruin your whole, like, you could be like 30 minutes past the save point and then just die and be like, well, gotta redo that whole portion again.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was weird because the guy just said don't fall down the holes, and I tried to fall down the holes because I had save states and I couldn't. I'm like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was just, and also I should state that this game takes place 17 years after the first game, which I don't think it explains to you until way later.
Yeah.
Because you are Heather Mason, daughter of Harry Mason, but you're the girl that he received at the end of the first game, which I don't even remember at all. It's been a long time.
Did you get the very good ending? The good plus, I believe it's called.
I don't know what I got. I only watched the one ending, and I just saw her at the gravestone.
Yeah, no. What is it? I think in the good plus ending, which I learned if you go into the final boss of Silent Hill, the one that flies with no ammo, he just dies instantly and you beat the game.
Oh.
But yeah, there's like very Jesus looking Alyssa, and she just like chunks a baby 20 miles an hour at Harry.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's a new baby.
Okay. I want to go back and replay the first one.
The first one you can beat like less than this. It's not that long of a game either.
No, not if you know what you're doing. I played it for the show a long time ago. Episode 2.
I think it's maybe a little bit longer than this one, but not by much. Like maybe an hour.
Oh, and I should state before we go much farther, there will be spoilers for Silent Hill 3, stuff like that. So just keep it warned. We're going to spoil Silent Hill 1, but it don't matter.
Also a content warning.
Yes.
Oh, God, yes.
We might get into some stuff, so...
Well, so we got past the dream sequence, and because I just played it. Like, I think I played the first part Monday, then I beat it Thursday, and I got to the amusement park. No, I got to the hospital yesterday, so I beat the hospital, took a break.
Oh, you did pretty. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I remember what comes next. Like, this is when you wake up in the mall, or you find yourself in the mall, and the detective comes after her, and he's like, hey, Heather, wait. And she goes in the bathroom.
Who takes a nap in a mall?
You know, as a guy who worked at a mall, that's believable.
Look, man, sometimes we get pretty tired. Us old folks, we just need to lie down. I get it. It's
also have sex in mall parking lots too at the middle of the night. I know that too. When I used to work at cleaning at the Mall of America. We'd drive around the truck, and every so often people be having sex in their cars, and we were supposed to get rid of them, so we would circle their car kind of until they drove off. It works, by the way.
Well, I mean, technically that is, public indecency and is punishable.
My favorite was when this girl was sitting on top of a guy, and they just stopped moving. Like we weren't gonna, we were T-Rexes, and we weren't gonna notice them when they stopped moving. That was my favorite. They were like, we can still see you. It doesn't, just because you're not moving doesn't mean we're like, oh, there they go, they're gone. I can't find them.
Nice.
It was pretty hilarious. So me and the other guy just drove around in circles. I mean, not like right next to their car, but we drove around the area, just kept like acting like we were, and just pissed them off until they drove off. That's what you reminded me of. But yes, people, I completely can believe somebody falling asleep at a mall. Get back to where we were. It's interesting in this game because she's not in Silent Hill at first. She's just in whatever town she's in.
Yeah. So they take that to a weird view, and it gets more into it later, but they're like in hiding. But the whole point of that is Silent Hill, which they really take into for no reason, but because technically, which also they don't explain until later, so it doesn't make sense, but she is technically Alyssa, so technically she is the person that caused the Silent Hill originally, so it would make sense that once the memories start stirring up, she would start causing things to happen, because really nothing really happens until she meets Claudia.
Yeah, that's when everything goes to hell, isn't it?
Yeah, whenever her and Claudia have that weird talk in the hallway about her being God or something.
Yeah, and bringing, with blood on their hands, like bringing humanity to its end or whatever.
Never... Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, no. I was just going to say that's pretty much where it all starts to go worse. I mean, it kind of goes bad, but...
I've never understood the Silent Hill, like, religion, the cult religion, because it's always like, we're supposed to go to heaven. It's like, And they mentioned it in the game too, but it's like, man, this sucks.
If this is your heaven, I don't want there to be a god.
Yeah, it's a good
I
line.
mean, I'm just, you know, like this is a hellscape.
And then, did the enemies get? Does the next enemy get introduced, or is it until you get into that room is the first enemy you see?
I think it's in. Well, you would see. I want to say you see the dogs in the amusement park, but if you skip that or if you die right away,
Oh yeah,
you get to the shopping, the alternate shopping, or in the shopping mall. Because she goes in the bathroom, she jumps out a door or out a window, and then you run down the hallway, and she's still in the regular world, and you run into these little like headless, two-legged dinosaur-looking thingies.
those are penis monsters. I don't care what anybody says; those are very much just penis monsters.
Okay.
I mean, they're actually called numb bodies,
Yes.
but penis monsters, okay, I guess. Makes sense.
I'll buy it. I mean, the monsters in this game are, to me, they'll never beat Silent Hill 2 just because of the whole references of what Silent Hill 2 is without you knowing it. But it was cool starting off in a mall and you had a lot of like ugly things. And it's also interesting because she's not in the other world. She's not in Silent Hill yet. All this stuff is already happening to her. I thought that was kind of cool. Like running around the mall and going to different stores and things, and you have to get tongs to get a key. Like the puzzles weren't too bad. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the puzzles weren't too bad because I was playing on easy, but I know that playing them on hard is an absolute monstrosity.
So I know one thing I know about one of the puzzles on hard, because a lot of them tend to mix it up or add extra items sometimes or don't. I think 2 does that. I don't know if 3 does. The book puzzle for the first, which is the first, I would say the first actual puzzle of the game. The book puzzle on hard, you have to know Shakespeare and you have to read a description for each book and you have to put them in order. So if you don't know what came first, Romeo and Juliet or was it Othello or whatever, you're not going to know how to solve this puzzle off the top of your head.
Okay, that's shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shitty in the game, but I would not like that.
I took a class where I ran through all of Shakespeare's works, so I would have been fine.
I have not and have no interest in that.
Well, you definitely should.
I'm just not my thing. I don't like that
out.
era. I've noticed. Like I've been watching a show on Netflix called Bridgerton, or my wife is, and I just don't like that era. I'm noticing.
The Shakespeare.
Oh, you like
era?
Shakespeare?
Maybe.
Shakespeare's all dick jokes. Dick joke.
But the mall was very cool, and I forget what it is that is it right. Oh, it's right after she runs into Claudia that we end up seeing the alternate or the other world. I think they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where everything actually goes full Silent Hill.
This is where things get fucked up.
Oh, I love it so much.
I mean, Silent Hill 3 did a good job. The other world I felt was very good in this game. Like it was pretty. Is this the part where I don't remember where it is? I know at some point there was a toilet that you can try to open up. Was that in the mall or was that somewhere else?
In the mall.
No, that was in the mall.
Okay, so I found this toilet. I went to it and she's like, okay, do you want to drain? She starts to go. She went to go reach into it. Then she looked at the camera and was like, who the fuck would do, or who the hell would do this? This is disgusting.
Okay, so that's really funny. Did you
That made me laugh.
Did you play Silent Hill 2 on an emulator for the same emulator?
Yes.
Yeah, you only get that cutscene if you have. There's five things in the game, maybe less, that you only get if you have a save file for Silent Hill 2. That's one of them.
Oh, that's even cooler.
Yeah, that's a joke at James because James shoves his whole hand in that toilet to like get a key, and there's no key in there. Like he doesn't even pull his sleeve up.
That was just so funny because she looked back at the camera and she's like, why would I do this?
It's a really funny scene. That and then like knocking. I thought they were gonna say knocking on the door, and someone knocks back, and she goes, "Is someone really in there?" And when you walk away, it just slowly like opens, and if you go back, there's like nothing but blood in there.
That freaked me the hell out because I went to the door and I went knock, 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 and all of a sudden I heard, and I just jumped. I was not expecting that. When I first played this game, I played at night with headphones on, sitting in a dark room. I'm just playing my game, and it freaked me the hell out. And I didn't play again at night the rest of this playthrough.
Oh, that's exactly how I played it.
I don't do good with horror games. Like, horror games are hard for me to play. I mean, this one was more like, the last horror game that really terrified the hell out of me was Resident Evil 2 Remake. I mean, that terrified the hell out of me, but that's because that game was also challenging. This was more of just psychological messing with me. I mean, because it wasn't, I ran from every enemy I came into. I had save states, so nothing was really an issue, but it still did a good job of just fucking with me, the stuff I had to do. Of just like different. Like there was one point, I don't remember when it happened, but there was some point where somebody just screamed randomly, and it made me just jump, and nothing ever came of it. It just was just a random scream somewhere. And
I think I know where it is. I'll get to that. It's like in a little bit, but this game, I play horror games. I love playing horror games. They're my favorite kind of game, and I was stressed out the whole time because it's not like Resident Evil where most zombies are the same size. And like the guides don't help because the guides are like, oh, you can fight the enemy or not, but then you walk into a room and it's those big, I think they're called closers, the big hand guys, and it's like you can't run past those dudes sometimes. They're just too big.
And then you got to take the hit, and then you get knocked down, and then they hit you again, and then you're dead, and then you got to start back over.
You die.
I had an issue.
Oh, okay.
I had an issue.
I had save states. I'm not playing on easy, so I got knocked down. I never got beaten too bad. But that's the other thing about this game is that the weapons were not like you don't get any like real clear weapons that really take out a person. Like you start out with a pocket knife, you get a pipe pretty early on, but it's no pipe from Silent Hill 2. You can't just knock down everybody in one hit and just beat them down easily. Like you just the melee weapons are not that good in this game, which I think adds to the fear, and it also adds the reason why I never played it until this week because I didn't like that. I felt very defenseless, which worked because you are a 17-year-old girl in a terrible situation. So it made a little more sense. I'm not saying, I don't want to sound, I'm just saying, anyone who's in a situation, like it makes sense that they're not going to be okay. Like James shouldn't have been as powerful as he is, except for the fact that he's a killer. So I think it works, but that's neither here nor there.
Say spoilers for Silent Hill 2? Did we say spoilers for Silent Hill 2?
I think, I did. It's a spoiler on it. Yeah. Not it won't. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Was it any spoilers for anything that's been put on the podcast? You said was 1, 2, 3. This one obviously in Origins, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of Origins. I liked it. I like this. I think it's one of the two only good, not original Silent Hill games. The katana. I think the katana was at least better because when you hit an enemy, it bounces off them. When you hit them, the katana cuts through them, so you can at least get a couple hits in and kill them faster. But
the katana was nice. I got that early on, and I used that from the time I got it. I used it a lot, but it didn't really stun. It didn't stun enemies. It didn't stop them. They kept beating the shit out of me just fine.
Well, that's the nice thing about the katana. You can use that all the way up to the end game.
Yeah, I did. Once I got it, it was the best. It was the last weapon I got. Melee.
I think it is the last weapon you get to, isn't it? Or melee weapon. Yeah,
the mall just. And there was another part that made me laugh. So right after you get through the alternate world mall. And you fight a weird boss, like that
is a penis worm.
Okay, we'll go with yes, penis worm. Silent Hill does like their sexy weird thing, so.
Oh, this has a reason for it.
Okay, that I don't know. I did not pay attention. I should put this out there. I did not pay a lot of attention to the story because one, I don't even know why. Because I like story games. I just wasn't in the mood for it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch a video that explains it after I beat the game. And I found one, but it didn't really explain it, and I didn't go back and find others. I ran out of time. So I don't really know what was going on. I just know when you beat the penis monster, this worm thingy, it makes the mall go back to normal, and she's in the normal world again. But I did laugh. The detective finds her. She's like, I'm going to go. And she used a payphone to call her dad, and that really made me laugh. I'm like, good luck with that part. But this was 2003, so there were payphones. Payphones don't exist anymore.
They really don't, do they?
Well, you don't need them. Everyone has cell phones. But 2003, everybody wouldn't have had cell phones.
Yeah, it's like that early 2000s, if you had a cell phone, you're either a businessman or a very rich person.
Or a drug dealer.
I had a cell phone, but I was none of those three. I had a cheap cell phone, but yeah, I had a flip phone. And not 2003. I got one in 2005. 06, yeah. I got one before I graduated.
That's closer to when most people started getting them.
Yeah, when they started getting cheap.
Yeah.
They probably weren't cheap 2003, were they? In 2002, or this would have been made in 2002.
When was the iPhone made? I feel like when the iPhone was made, cell phones started getting cheaper.
Can't remember.
I don't know. I remember having a Motorola Razr.
Oh yeah.
But it was just interesting to me how she calls a payphone, and then I like the next couple parts of the game where you go into. I like the subway. I thought the subway was really interesting when you're running around there, and there were less enemies. There were a few, but most of it was just you running around in the regular world, and I really liked it. Like it got me more into the game when I was in the subway part. I like it when she's not in the other world. The other world for me was hard to see. Like I had to turn the brightness all the way up, and I just couldn't see very well. Part of it was because I wasn't playing in the dark most of it anymore. Oh, so
must have had a great time with the next boss then.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. But so that was a different thing. And then I forgot to turn off. There's 2 filters that are on this game when you start it up in the options mode, and I didn't know to turn those off. So the game looked uglier than it should have. So that I didn't appreciate. But you had made a joke earlier, Joe. When was that? Was a walnut puzzle in the mall? You have to go you have to crack it.
Oh yeah, the walnut puzzle. Yeah, you have to crack the walnut to get the moonstone.
And then put the moonstone in the door or something like that.
Yeah, that's in the mall.
Okay.
Which follows the Silent Hill tradition of who the hell thought this was weird, and I blame the other world, which is I think Harry finds a key in a bag of jelly beans, and then the one that can't ever be topped, which is, oh man, I found this can. I gotta find a can opener. There are light bulbs in this can. Okay.
That was Silent Hill 2, right?
Yeah, it's Silent Hill 2.
Okay. I mean, you get the radio pretty quickly, too. Like, right after the first scene with Claudia, you get the radio, which is, normal. I felt this game, at least on easy mode, gave me a lot of ammo. Especially since I didn't use ammo because I ran all the time.
Well, that's the fun thing, because if you're ever low on ammo, there's a couple spots in the game where ammo will generate.
That's cool.
If you have ammo, it won't be there otherwise.
I also find it amusing that you get your shotgun in a subway car.
It's in a birthday box.
Yeah, I like that.
That's where shotguns are, though.
The game gives you a handgun too pretty early, which I didn't use very often because when I play survival horror, I save, like, especially with save states, like a game like this, I save all my ammo. I save way too much ammo. But I do like, there's a couple times in the game, well, I mean, I had a guide, so it told me, but you'll see like a dead body of an enemy just laying in front of something. And as soon as you get close, they pop up real fast and come after you. The big fat guys.
Oh.
I forget what they're called.
The insane cancers.
Yes. They're just real big blobs that try to kill you.
They're fast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're fast.
Take a lot of bullets, too. I shot them when I would see them. So only when I had to. If they got in my way and I couldn't get past them, they got killed. But this game does a pretty good fuck you moment at one point where you have to jump into subway trails, check a door, but then when you check the door, a train starts coming and you hear the train coming. If you don't get your ass back up, you get ran over and die.
I thought I died the first time I did that.
It's a pretty fuck you moment. I was like, what the hell? I mean, I didn't die because I had a guide and I knew, but I was just like, this would piss me off if I didn't know better. Like if you were playing this game, for the first time and you're trying to play more, legit, not the way I play, I would be unhappy. I can't remember in Silent Hill 1 or 2 if they fought as many things as she does that when they're not in the other world. Because I feel like they weren't as strange when you were in the regular world, as in here she deals with so much shit in the regular world.
Well, I think too James does, because I don't think James ever goes to the other world till like maybe the underground society, and then the last area, which is I think the hotel. That's the only time he goes to the other world. Other than that, he's in the real world pretty much the whole time. Okay,
no, Silent Hill 1 starts off in the real world too, where he's like, "Didn't you see that? I'm looking for a girl." Yeah. Okay.
Short, black hair, about 7 years old.
I love that. Okay. So, yeah, you're right. Never mind. I don't know. I just found it weird to me at first because she deals with so much crap and she wasn't in the other world most of the time.
Well, she also, because she is who she is.
Well, she's a god, right?
Stuff just drawn to her.
Is she a god or what is she?
So, we'll probably get more of that into the end game stuff too. Yeah, but it's not described very well, and it really just isn't. But if I remember correctly, off of my weird, because I used to love these games as a kid, and I used to read the lore and like the theory stories and all that. The religion that they follow in Silent Hill isn't their religion. They found it and thought it was like, because there's a memo later on in the game that's the two. Like people are like, you realize you're worshiping like the devil, right? And they're like, no, it's the savior. They're supposed to cleanse the earth and fire and bring paradise to us all. Like, no, that sounds like Satan. But one of the things I don't really want to get too far into because it's a little bit of a spoiler, but her and Claudia don't have the same dad. Leonard Wolf is Claudia's dad. No, not Claudia. Who is the bad guy in this game? Yeah, it's Claudia, right?
Claudia.
Yeah. Because Dahlia is their mom.
Okay, Dahlia is the one that died in the first game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. See, I haven't played the first game in like 2 years, so I don't remember it at all. And it was the second game of the show, so I remember very little of it.
It's okay. Like I said, I used to love these games as kids, especially because the movie's really good too. Not the second one.
The first one wasn't good.
We're going to talk about the second one.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the second one. But I guess it's supposed to imply that Alyssa was born from from Claudia not having a dad. Like she was born technically like Jesus, but sure she might have cheated and she was just lying.
So you're telling me the mitochondria just created her?
Yeah, the mitochondria. No, okay. Silent Hill gave birth to her.
See, Silent Hill is kind of like midichlorians, but a town.
No, Silent Hill is like very, which is funny too, but it is true. Is very upset Native American burial grounds. But yeah, Alyssa didn't have a dad, or she tried convincing everyone she was born from like their god, and then there's a whole cult. The cult sells drugs. It's that kind of thing.
And the whole thing is that Alyssa was supposed to give birth to this god, the one that the cult was following.
It's really fucked up. That's all I got. All right, and the free Steam code will be for Torchlight. Again, this is for Steam. The code is XFW49042P7ZRJ7. And that is the Steam code for Torchlight. I also, I was a little surprised. I mean, again, I knew it was coming, but you go in the sewers, and I'm like, come on, do we have to go? I did not want to go in the sewers in this game. I don't. But it was very interesting. And there's a one-hit kill in the sewers that got me, where you're supposed to throw a hair dryer into this pond, plug it in, throw it in the pond. But if you walk across the bridge, the game warns you, like, I don't know if I should do this. You get killed instantly, which I did. I was annoyed. I mean, I'd say so it didn't matter, but it was like, okay. It's very interesting, the things that she goes through. And I was more into this game, and I felt more challenged than I did in 2. And I felt more absorbed in the story. I mean, I already knew 2's story. And when I went back to 2, I really didn't enjoy it because I knew what James was and what was going on. So it didn't have that same allure to me. And I really didn't like it. Where this one, I didn't know anything that was going on. So I had more fun with it. I enjoyed Heather as a character, too. I enjoyed the fact that she's handling it very well, what she's going through, I think.
Almost too well.
Yeah, it's a video game. It's Silent Hill.
It's also 2003. Kids are desensitized by the time they're 17.
Yeah, clearly.
And kids are stronger than adults in some ways sometimes. You can handle trauma differently.
Yeah, they're just better at suppressing it.
Oh, yeah. It affects you more later as you get older.
Yep.
Plus once you see like a 6'7", 8 foot tall monster eating a person, you're pretty much good for the rest of that day.
Yeah, well, I've seen this. What else is there that can really shock me?
Hey, look, a penis worm.
There's a lot of penis things in this thing. Like you are right now. I'm looking more at the numb bodies, which have legs. They do look like penises with legs and tails. They really do. You're not wrong.
Yep.
And you said there's a reason for that or something you were saying?
Oh, well, since we already kind of got into it earlier, because she's supposed to give birth to God, there's a lot of penis metaphors because it's supposed to imply that she's supposed to get pregnant and give birth to God. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucked up game.
Oh, we forgot to talk about my least favorite enemy in this game.
Sure. What's that?
Not because they're difficult, but in the mall, you get the first appearance of the pendulum.
Oh, those things are annoying.
Those things are funny.
I just don't like them. Like, they're not hard at all, because all you got, really, just run. Just run. But I just don't like the way they move, the way they sound. Not a fan.
Which way do you not like them moving? Do you prefer them not on the ground or not in the air?
I don't prefer them.
They are creepy as hell. Like, 'cause they turn around and like they're either in the, like you said, in the air, or they're on the ground next to you, squirting away. Like, they're terrible. I do not like them at all. The sound effects in this game are just. So I played this game mostly with headphones in. A couple times I only had one earbud in because I realized when I have two earbuds in and I play a horror game and a cat jumps on something, I jump out of my chair. So it didn't seem like a good idea. And my little cats are shit sometimes and like to make noise and do stuff like cats do, and I get terrified when I'm sitting. Like, when I first played the game, I was sitting alone playing it, and I'm like, "Yep, we'll play this later."
It's okay. I had to play on earphones because there's that, which is a really good part too. That part in the mall, and you hear the dogs howling from a distance, and my dog started freaking me out. So you hear the howling and the dogs are attacking me and my dogs are behind me growling and barking and wooing. And I'm like, I can't play this right now. I have to stop. and put earphones on later.
They're like, "What are you? We're gonna help you, Joe. We're gonna protect you."
Please stop wooing. No more wooing.
I actually had to wait to play this. I couldn't play this as soon as I wanted to because my partner was here, and they cannot stand the way things move in Silent Hill games.
Okay, that's
like things move very unnaturally in these games, and I am not allowed to play Silent Hill games if they're around. Of the sound and the movement, and nope.
Then you guys should watch Jacob's Ladder.
I love Jacob's Ladder, and I caught the references in this game. I also caught the references to Session 9, which is one of my favorite horror movies.
Really? I never heard of that. I'll look that up.
Oh, Session 9 is a fantastic movie, and there's a lot of the wheelchair references are in here.
Yeah.
From Session 9. I think one of the memos actually is like a memo or something on a wall is a reference to Session 9 also.
So you're telling me to stay away from this movie? Okay.
I found my Halloween movie, so thanks, Ken. I appreciate it.
Hey, glad to help.
One thing that was also interesting is that how a lot of the areas in this game connect. Like you go from the mall, you go in the subway, you go in the sewers, you end up at a construction site. Like it's all just kind of connected because you're just trying to escape. The whole time you're just trying to escape at first.
Or yeah, home actually.
I like that there was no Silent Hill 2 and I think 1 also were very much like, okay, go to this place, you get clues, go back on the street, run through the street. And this game had very little of that at first. That's very little of it in general, but you had just a lot of you're just in claustrophobic areas trying to survive. And this game felt much more survival-y as a character and what was happening to her than 1 and 2 did. To me, she felt like she was in a lot more turmoil, too, just of what she was having to deal with.
Well, I mean, all of going through the mall, the subway, the sewers, the construction site, all of this is just trying to get back home to her familiar place. So she's having some times.
She's having a bad day.
Yeah. There's some reference to that, which is also helps that she's supposed to be in a familiar place is the comments on the save points, which is whenever she sees them, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 she doesn't say anything, but she's always like, I hate seeing these things. They make my head hurt, and I wish they would go away.
Yep, because those are the symbols of the cult, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. There's one of the other characters she runs into is Vincent. I don't remember when she first meets him, but he didn't make any sense to me. You said he's Claudia's father?
No. Leonard.
Leonard is a boss, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. What was Vincent's whole thing? Doesn't Vincent die too in this near the end?
Vincent's also a member of the cult, but he doesn't agree with the way that Claudia does things.
Okay. And Claudia's in charge of the cult?
Currently, yes.
Okay. Because she's the daughter of Dahlia from the first game.
Yes.
Because there's one point when you first meet Vincent, the first thing he says to you is, they call you Heather now, right? Because he knows that you're not who because you have 3 different names, essentially. So it was weird. I was very confused what was happening. I was very confused who the other characters were. Since you're not in Silent Hill, it was a little different to me, too. Because in Silent Hill, there are people who, in Silent Hill 2, for example, the one that sticks the most to me, there are people who just kind of randomly were attracted to this town because they're bad people. They're all murderers, I think, if I remember correctly. So they're put in this situation. Because isn't that the whole thing about 2, is that all the people that you run into are just downright murderers?
Yeah, but, I think the only one that wasn't a murderer was, he's the fat kid.
Oh, I thought he was a murderer, too.
No, he just shot a dog. He shot a guy in the leg.
Oh, he shot a dog. That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. He did, yeah. I like Vincent's character up until, you kind of think he's a guy that doesn't want to be in this, but then I need to remember that the movie bleeds into my memories with the game, so I need to remember that that's not true. I've seen the first movie. I mean, our first movie episode that we did is on the first film.
First movie's good.
The first movie is good.
I didn't like it.
This one a lot.
I don't like horror movies, though.
The first movie's good, and the director never said anything messed up about it ever.
I take that must be a lie by the tone of voice.
Yeah, no, I don't know how true it is or not, but I always heard that the director for both movies, but for the first movie, apparently someone said that he quoted, "Oh, I made the main character a woman so women would like me and go on dates with me," and it's that's kind of skeezy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. He's French.
Is he?
Okay.
Yeah. He's French.
Still sleazy. Less sleazy, maybe, but still sleazy. But neither that's not here nor there. But it's you run into a lot of strange people, and then you end up in like the Hilltop Center. That's what's connected to the construction yard, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, the Hilltop Center this is when you fight the boss that I really did not. Well, because you hadn't found your father yet, right? No, that's right after all this happens.
Yeah. One thing about the construction site, which is one thing I want to mention real quick because it's actually really weird. Back in the day, did y'all ever buy like the unofficial strategy guides you can buy from GameStop and stuff like that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
In the one for Silent Hill 3, did y'all find the silencer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the unofficial strategy guide or official strategy guide, EBA, whatever it's called, and the one you can buy from GameStop, it says that that's supposed to be a Metal Gear Solid Easter egg, and that's supposed to be Solid Snake. I don't know how true that is, though.
Well, given the fact that Silent Hill 2 paintings, like 2 and 3 paintings, have ended up in Metal Gear games in the past, I'd buy it.
Yeah, I could buy it. Same company, so they could do it if they want.
There's artwork from Silent Hill and Metal Gear, so this is just another example of getting peanut butter and chocolate put together.
When Konami still made games. I love making that joke every time we cover a Konami game.
Well, it's true though, so
I know. That's why it's funny.
R.I.P. Silent Hill and Suikoden.
So there was another really Suikoden. There was another really weird like puzzle in the Hilltop Center that I want to mention where I don't think I would have figured this out, where you have to find pork liver, a match, and then I think something else to put in a bucket to then light this picture on fire.
Hydrogen peroxide.
I feel like I wouldn't have gotten this if it wasn't for the guide telling me. I think I would have been stuck here for a bit. I just had that feeling. That was one that I just wouldn't. Almost all the puzzles in this game, my brain just would not have put these together because they're just very strange puzzles to me.
Young Ken had a real blast with these puzzles. Old Ken didn't bother.
Old Ken just read, right?
No, Old Ken just ran through.
Yeah, I
used to walk through a couple times, but that was it. Most of it was muscle memory.
Nice. None of this was in muscle memory.
I used a walkthrough for this because I very specifically remember. I think it's it's at the Hilltop Center too. During and after the Hilltop Center, this game fucks with you and like literally has rooms where there's like 7 or 3 or 5 enemies.
Yes,
that will attack you. There's nothing in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it starts to really mess with you. I mean, another thing about Silent Hill is that the areas are pretty big in this game with tons of doors that will never open and are just locked, and that's just the game. And I think that I don't like that a whole lot. Like in the Hilltop Center, you see that even more so than you have in other places. In the Hilltop Center, like when you're in the other world of it, you have to go up and down stairs at one point to different floors to do things, and that kind of fucked with me too. And I'm like, yeah, I would not have liked this without a guide. Because there's so many doors, and it makes sense because a real building would have a lot of doors, but in a game, they don't usually put in tons of doors that you can't open. But Silent Hill does.
And that also adds to the terror of it all. You got something chasing you, try this door, locked, this one, locked. And with each successive locked door, it just ramps up your pulse a little bit more until you find that one door that opens and puts you in a worse situation than you were in the hallway.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a good horror game. I don't like horror games normally. Well, I don't ever, but so I gotta put that out there. But no, it's a good style. And when you get to the top of the Hilltop Center, I think you get this when you run into Claudia again.
No.
Okay, I know when you get to the top of Hilltop, you have to fight a boss, which has like knives for hand, and he can block your damn shot.
No.
Nope.
Is that not this?
You go back home.
Hillside. Yep.
Okay. Oh, you just go home then after the Hilltop Center?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Hilltop Center is where you have to find the secret magic password that makes the monster disappear, and then you get to leave.
Yeah, it's what is it?
Oh yeah.
It's Kleptu Narada something.
Yeah.
Tu fui ergo eris.
It's evil.
It's not not like that?
No, unfortunately not. That just causes other problems.
Okay, I forgot that she does the words and the monster goes away, then you end up back in the real world and she just walks home. Finally.
To be fair, I think the one thing that's interesting is when she says those words, it kills like every monster like in that area. It's like I think you walk through a hallway before you go back to that entrance, and like all the monsters in that hallway are gone.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you know what that means?
She should have said that every time she went to the other world.
Well, that too.
So
But
this,
it's Latin that translates out to "as you are, I was; as I am, so you shall be," which ties into the whole identity issue of this game.
So I brought the right people on for this episode, I see.
Yep, you brought
cool.
sisters.
And this is when you leave there, this is when you finally go back to your apartment building.
Fuck.
Which has the biggest, like, messed up moment, one of the more messed up moments of this game.
Rest in peace, Harry Mason. You killed a literal god at one point.
So you find him in a chair, all cut up and dead.
Yep.
I was really confused. I knew he was dead in this game because I knew stuff going in. Like, this game had been, bits and pieces had been spoiled for me going into this game, so I knew a little bit. And that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. I'm like, what? Just because the way you find him, and it doesn't play a big part because they find him dead, and then I know that is this when she runs into Claudia then again?
Yes.
Okay. It was kind of, and this is when you go out in the street and you fight the monster that killed him, right? Or you go out on the roof or something.
Yeah, you go out onto the roof, talk to Claudia. Claudia was like, "I didn't kill him. I just gave the order. This asshole killed him."
This was a hard fight.
This is my least favorite fight in this whole game.
Absolutely.
So you fight this boss with giant knives for arms, and he runs around. Luckily, the guy told me, turn off your flashlight so he can't stalk you, because he tracks you by your flashlight.
Ew. I didn't do that. But that's not...
Yeah, if you turn off a flashlight, he's easier because then he can't find you as well. He can still find you, but not as easy.
Yeah, my flashlight was off 80% of this game because I had the brightness turned up all the way.
I still had it on all the time.
Yeah, I usually had the flashlight on all the time.
Yeah, the flashlight helps him track you, and if you shoot him in the front, you can't hit him always because he'll block your shots. So you have to run around him and get him.
Yep.
He does some decent damage too. Like, I had a lot of health kits because I'm running from everything and I'm save stating, but still, this guy did some damage to me when he got a hold of me.
Now, if you use the silencer on the handgun, you can shoot him in the front.
Oh. I just use a shotgun.
That's fair.
He took a bunch of shotgun shots.
Is the best way to deal with it.
That's what I did. And when Claudia, the reason why Claudia gives the order, she even says, is revenge for 17 years ago.
Yep.
Which is the first game.
Which is stupid because she would have been like, I don't know, like 5. Or
doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Killed her mom. Look how long Tony Stark held on to that with the Winter Soldier.
You killed Mom! Oh, God.
So
get me started.
It's believable. It's believable.
See, now that makes me think that Harry Mason and his adopted daughter, killed off a whole, like, generation of family because...
And then they take his body, they put him in a bed, put a sheet over him, and put flowers on his body.
Which is nice.
And just something you got to do something. I mean, you can't call normally you would just call 911, but I'm assuming there is no 911 right now. So plus that might be a little more explanation than they want to give right now. And then the detective ends up like joining your side, kind of, or something.
Yeah. Well, Heather knows that Douglas is there to take her back, and now she wants to go back because Claudia said that that's where she was going to be.
Okay.
So Heather's like, "All right, nope, let's go crack knuckles. Time to go mess things up."
Also, there's like a weird... They mention it, I swear, somewhere in the game, that the reason why they don't call the cops is Heather's still emitting some kind of weird aura where there's like no one around, period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why in the mall she doesn't run anyone, except for maybe a person being eaten. But the subway's also completely empty, and a whole bunch of other stuff is because they're like in technically purgatory Silent Hill.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I was kind of wondering that too. And then this is when the detective Douglas takes you for the first time to Silent Hill, which again, I thought was strange how this is the first Silent Hill game that I played where you're not in Silent Hill.
The first half.
Yeah, which is not normal. Because 1, 2, and Origins, you're in Silent Hill the entire time that I played so far. And you also don't run around I did smile when I saw the map, and it's the same map from Silent Hill 2. That did make me smile. And you go to the same hospital, and the hospital layout I think is the same because like the receptionist room is in the same places I knew it where it should be. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, the walkthrough I read was also because I guess it's a website. There's like Silent Hill memories. You can set to like if you just play Silent Hill 2, the hospital shouldn't be that hard to navigate.
That to me is really cool because the same place where he went, and you also run into the nurses again, which to me is a little odd because weren't the nurses supposed to be something that were manifested from James?
They're different. So
Okay.
Yeah, they're not sexy,
Well, to some people they might be.
but
they're longer. They have hair. They
no
have
faces.
buttons. So I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
It's cool. Just rewinding it a little bit because I think it's an actually interesting Easter egg. If you still have that second save, that Silent Hill 2 save file, go to Heaven's Night, you can see what the hell's the girlfriend's name in 2?
Oh,
Maria?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maria. You can see what Maria actually looks like before James gets there. Yeah, there's a poster of her on it with black hair.
Okay, I didn't go in there because I missed it.
You mean you miss it? It's on the way to the hospital.
I know, but the guy didn't tell me till after I'd walked past and I wasn't going back. That's how I missed it.
Fair enough.
So it wasn't like a big deal. It was just one of those things where I'm like, oh, okay. But now I'm a little bummed because I didn't give a shit then, but now I kind of like, oh, that would have been cool to see.
Well, that just means you got to replay it.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, there's enough save spots to where you can save every time you find the save circle.
Yeah, but I didn't do that.
Did you save over your same save?
Yeah.
That's not how you play horror games.
I don't play a lot of horror games.
He doesn't know better.
Yeah. You gotta save stagger. That way in case you miss something, you can go back instead of having to backtrack for 4 hours.
I had a guide, so I didn't miss anything. So, but yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, and I know what you mean. I just I wasn't playing it that way to have to worry about that. But I do get it. Like I played other horror games like that. This just was one where I didn't have to do that. So that's all.
I'm just super pissed that there are pendulums everywhere in goddamn Silent Hill.
There weren't that many in my version on easy. Well, no, we're both playing easy. I mean, I didn't see a whole lot. I didn't see a whole lot of things when I was running around Silent Hill.
I think there's like at least 3 between Heaven's Night and Brookhaven. And that's
okay. Well, maybe I just avoided them because I went on the other side. I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing too much. But I do remember the whole, like, the Brookhaven Hospital part was, I thought, really good, too. Like, I enjoyed that part of this game. It's a little fucked up, but it's a hospital, so it makes sense.
it usually is.
It was, and then, I forget what, is this where she goes into a room with a bathtub and then she ends up in the other world?
Yes.
Yes.
That was kind of fucked up.
This is also where you find what can only assume is the most badass story ever told of a wheelchair and a submachine gun, and obviously a man called Submachine Wheelchair Man fighting something in an elevator.
Yup. I don't know about you, but I always look for submachine guns when I go to the hospital.
The submachine gun, you don't get a lot of ammo for it in this game.
Uh-uh.
Because I only got a couple clips, and I used 2 clips or 3 clips in the boss at the bottom of this hospital.
Also, I think it's also a Silent Hill 2 save extra, or you find a note somewhere. There's a really weird character that you never meet, but you find notes for. What is his name? Like Leonard or not Leonard?
Stanley.
Who?
Stanley Coleman.
Stanley.
Oh, he was in
Coleman.
the first game, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the doctor's name that's stealing drugs? I can't remember much about the first game.
No, Stanley is a man who has never met Heather, but is madly in love with her.
Okay.
And you find a doll that increasingly a long pole Heather will not touch with it.
Yeah, it's a creepy doll.
The creepy game.
It's a creepy game.
But he was a patient here.
Okay.
Because, of course, he was.
But I believe there's an implication that him or Leonard's room is right next to Mary's room in the hospital, I think.
I got nothing for this part. I wasn't really paying attention to the notes.
I think it was his. 'Cause I know Leonard hates him.
There's some pretty fucked up parts in this hospital. Like, there's one part you're climbing up a ladder and there's like some weird monster on the wall that can't hurt you. That's just screaming at you.
Oh, you don't know who that is?
No.
Yeah, you know who that is?
Vaultiel.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
So Vaultiel is a really interesting backstory for this game, to where he is meant to be watching over Heather this whole game. You'll notice him throughout the game actually several times. He's in the opening turning a wheel,
Oh.
but there's a very interesting Easter egg that if you go to YouTube and look it up, it's absolutely terrifying. If you die to an enemy, there's like a 1 out of 10 chance where instead of being the game over screen, it'll cut to black and it'll show Heather laying on the floor, and Vaultiel will walk up and grab her by the leg and drag her away.
Yeah, I saw that in a YouTube video. I was like, what the hell? I don't remember this. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's only if you die.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, he's there to generally look creepy, and he does, because he's wearing a very similar kind of butcher's apron to Pyramid Head, and he's got a stitched up face. I mean, he's a fun dude.
And it's in the hospital. There's one part where you just see all like these red veins just covering the walls, and they keep moving. That freaked me out too.
Yeah.
So is it the mirror scene in the hospital, or is that in a different part of the game?
I think it's in the hospital.
Yeah.
That
Where the
was
reflection stops moving.
that was fucked up.
No, thank you.
That's a cool room. That really is one of the things where it's like we should really show off what the PS2 does.
Yeah.
Because you go in this
No, I just said it worked.
you go in this room and you see yourself, and then you also see everything start turning black and like this goo going on everything in where you are, but you don't. It's only in the mirror at first, and it starts coming into like in the room you're in, and the whole room turns black, and you can't leave. The door just locks behind you. It was pretty fucked up, and you have to do it because it's the only way to get. You have to just stand there and wait this whole time. Then after you do it, then the elevator works or something of that nature. It's really strange. It would have freaked me out if I didn't know that that's what I had to do.
It's okay.
And I don't remember. So you end up going to the basement of the hospital. Is that where you fight that weird Leonard guy in the water? Right?
Yeah.
If I remember. Okay.
Yeah.
I used the submachine gun on that fight. So this is like serpent thing that just swims through the water, and you can only hit him when he comes up. He's annoying.
Yeah.
But he took a bunch of submachine gun ammo.
Yeah, but that's Claudia's dad. That's where Heather gets the really weird idea of I might feel better if I also kill her dad.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that's fucked up.
Reasonable.
But it also has my favorite thing in video games and TVs and anime, which is, hello, person I've never met. You're here for my big item. I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. Don't lie to me. I know you're after this big item that you need that you didn't know you need. Oh, okay.
Well, I guess I'll be killing you and taking that item then.
I mean, in her defense, he's a giant monster.
But she doesn't know that when he's talking about the seal.
Well, when she sees Leonard, he's a monster.
Yeah, but they talk first.
Oh.
Like, she doesn't know until she sees him.
Is he the one that calls on the phone and he's like, "It's your 24th birthday"? Or is that someone else?
No, that's some random dude.
Okay, that didn't make any
Yeah.
sense to me.
It does
That's
make
another weird part.
sense because you find out later the reason why he's confused is because Heather has been reborn twice.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's it's not her birthday. It's Alyssa and Cheryl's birthday.
Oh, that's what he's saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's after you kill Leonard that you wake up in the hospital and you get that little like seal or something. That what you guys are talking about, the MacGuffin.
Yeah, the MacGuffin.
Yep.
And then the hospital is normal and you just leave or you try to leave. And I don't think there's any enemies in it after this either.
I didn't look.
I just ran out the door, but I don't remember fighting anything. And then you go. So this is when you finally go into the amusement park. Oh, no, do you go back? No, do you go back to the apartments first? I think.
The hotel.
Yeah, you go back to the hotel. You run into Vincent, I think, or the detective. You run into somebody, and then you go to the amusement park. Oh, Vincent. Vincent's in your hotel room.
Yeah. Vincent's in the hotel and he tells you, hey, Douglas went to the amusement park because he said that's where Claudia is at, even though he was just talking to her. And I think she even says something too. She's like, was someone just here? And he's like, no.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The amusement park, I had seen a lot of people show the amusement park when it comes to this game. Like that's always one of those scenes that they always like people like to show off. And I don't like amusement parks in general, and this is a pretty creepy version of one.
Yeah.
It's good though. It's a good scene. It's good. It's a good zone that you're in, and it's cool to revisit a place from the original part of the game where you didn't matter if you died, but now it does matter because you're really here.
Yep.
And the enemies are annoying, and everything is dark, and you don't get a map. I was really upset. I did not get a map, so I had to really like try to get around, and I did not like that.
I didn't get a map, so I had to play the game, and I didn't like it.
Well, I use the guides. I told them what to do, but still, I don't like horror games. I hate Spooktober. Like I'm so happy Spooktober's over with right now. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. I only play horror games now, since the other guys have quit the show that loved horror games, once a year. I play 4 or 5 of them. That's it. Other than that, there are no horror games on the show very often. That's how I like it. So, but no, I really enjoyed the amusement park. I thought it's a really creepy area. I was really expecting at some point one of the things, those like bunny looking mascots come after me though, and they never did. And I was a little surprised.
I do like that they don't, because, expectations. You expect something like that to happen. It doesn't happen, so you're just kind of like, okay, when's it coming? I know it's going to happen. Here it is. Here. Nope. Okay. Like tension. It's all about tension. That Silent Hill does tension better than any game since, the original 3.
Yeah, no. Once I got to the amusement park, I wasn't that freaked out. But like pretty much up until the the hilltop, or pretty much until you got to your own apartment, I was like freaked out. Like I was like, I hope I don't run into enemies. The weapons I have on me suck. Especially because like I've watched someone play this game before, but I always know you have to save your ammo for the first boss, so it's like I can't use any ammo. So if I run an enemy, all I have is this knife and or pipe. So
pipe is great though. The pipe is like it's great. It's perfect. You just beat things with it, and it's a good time.
I'm more of the katana guy. I like to practice my katas in the mirror, make sure that I know what I'm doing.
And in the amusement park, this is when you find out that Douglas was supposed to was he supposed to kill you, or he was supposed to bring you to Claudia? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he gets injured because he betrays Claudia, and then you can either go talk to him or leave him. I think you leave him either way, but you can. There's something to do with an ending where if you talk to him or if you don't talk to him afterwards, and then the game gets. So you end up progressing. You get to a carousel, and you get on this carousel, and you have to hit these mutated looking horse things that are shooting out gas. You have to hit all of them until they stop moving. Otherwise, if you don't, I think you die from the gas or something. It sounded like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have put 2 and 2 together, even though it gives you a hint. Like there's a little note that says something about this one's not moving, and then it hints that you're supposed to do it. But I don't think I would have put 2 and 2 together. Maybe, I don't know. But I killed them all, and then you fight yourself. You fight Alessa, who looks just like you. It's the same character model, but
black hair.
Yeah, this is my favorite boss fight in the whole game.
This was cool. And she has 3 forms. First, she comes at you with a knife. Then she comes at you with a pistol. Then she has a submachine gun to come after you with.
4. It's the knife, the handgun, then the pipe, and then the submachine gun.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's cool though. And she's powerful too. And she's all bloody, like you said, black hair. I just pulled out my shotgun and just loaded her with shotgun bullets, and it took care of the job. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like fighting yourself, and it made sense because you're fighting the version of you that you killed in the first game, essentially.
Wait, you guys killed her?
What, in this game?
Yeah, I got this really weird cutscene where they hugged it out and they became the same person.
What? You're not kidding?
No, I'm kidding. That happens in the movie.
Oh, I don't remember the movie. The third movie or the second one?
The second movie.
I never seen the second movie. Okay. Sorry. You're joking. But no, you kill her. I think it's cool if she has different forms. Like you beat her and then she falls down. It looks like she dies and she comes back with a new weapon and comes after you.
And for the most part, you can just fight her with the katana the entire time.
Yeah, but when you have tons of bullets because you didn't shoot anything in the game, you're like, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I saved all my bullets for boss fights. And then after you beat her, I think you end up in there is a haunted house that I want to talk about in the amusement park that I thought was fucked up. Where you see dead bodies hanging around, the guy's like, oh, now you're in this room. This guy died of this. He killed his family. We don't know why. And then you get chased by a red light where if you stop moving, you die instantly if it catches you.
Mm-hmm.
I died 6 times on that part. And then I remembered I had the bulletproof vest on and I still died.
Oh, well, the bulletproof vest slows you down.
Yeah.
Time.
That was a cool part, though. I was like, this is pretty fucked up. I didn't die because I just kept running and I had save states, but it was pretty messed up still. I was not amused. But it was cool. I would have been the church I thought was kind of difficult, but I thought the church was cool. That's the final area you go to. It's the Church of Silent Hill, and it's this giant building that you're just trying to find your way through, and at one point you have to double back.
No, I was just agreeing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you get to Alessa's room, you can't go through it. You have to go do something else, then go through Alessa's room. I thought that you have to get one last card that you're missing, from way back in the beginning because you got a key. So that was interesting.
The favorite thing that with this area that they bring back from the first game, which is also happens in the last area of the church, which is the church. They bring back the hand-drawn map, which I always think is interesting.
Yeah. This one drawn by a child, though. That was kind of cool. And I always love in Silent Hill how when you go to doors that don't open, they scratch on the map. Oh, this door doesn't open. There's a blockade here. Like, I love that in Silent Hill.
Yeah, that's always a favorite.
The church was just very confusing. It had a lot of like maze-like areas that I got the hang of it after a while, but I didn't like it. Nor do I like the fact that your map is chopped up because it's a bunch of different drawings.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I'm not disagreeing with it. I just didn't like it, but I get it. So, then you have the tarot card puzzle at the very end, which is the last puzzle of the game, which I'm assuming is probably difficult when you're not playing this with a guide on easy. You have to arrange these tarot cards on a door.
It depends. Like, if you do it on easy, it just, in the sketchbook, it shows you exactly what to put where.
Okay.
So, like, that's pretty simple. The rest of them are fucking riddles.
This game does have a lot of riddles. I didn't have to deal with them because I was on easy, but yeah, I couldn't. The guy talked about the different different puzzles. Some of the puzzles were very, like the one that we talked about earlier in this episode, the Shakespeare one. You have to know Shakespeare to know where to put these books.
Mm-hmm.
Where on easy, it just has numbers on the book. You just put them in easy. You just put them in 1, 2, 3.
And then it reveals the code written on the spine.
Yeah.
So good.
And then you go through the church. You finally confront Claudia. She shoots Vincent. And you have a moment to choose what you want to do. So the first thing I did, even though I read the guide, but I forgot at that moment, I shot her. And I got game over. Because then you die. She dies and you die.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this item that's been in your inventory since the game started. Is a random thing called pendant that your dad gave you. You never use the entire game. You have to then use the pendant. And she drops out, like God comes out or something of her?
Yeah, she throws up God.
Okay.
Because in the pendant, there is a liquid commonly used for exorcism.
Oh.
I'm sure that makes sense.
It's also in the first game.
Man, it's been so long since I played the first one. I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, I believe it's I always refer to it as hemoglobin. I know it's not the name, but you find a bottle of it, and that's actually though you need 2 different ones to get the best ending, which is you find your own. And you use that to save the cop, and that knocks the parasite off her body. And then you're supposed to find another one, a motorcycle tank, which the doctor takes, and I think he throws that at Alyssa when she's in her god form, and that makes the real god come out, which is supposed to be the true final boss. So yeah, I think it's supposed to be a big reference to the first game. That stuff's really useful.
So then she spits out God, and then Claudia falls. I think does Claudia get like I remember Claudia falls down a hole, but I don't remember why.
She unhinges her jaw and eats God.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And God is like fetal, bloody thing that she spits out.
Yep. And then Claudia's like, ooh, num-nums. Jumps on it.
It's pretty fucked up. And then Claudia falls down a hole, and you go down the hole, and this is where you fight the final boss.
Because Claudia is dead.
The final boss is God again, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and it has Alessa's face, I think, on it too.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a fight where I put on the jacket. I had so many health items. I just stood in one spot, shot it, let it drop down, shot it, took the hit, and just rinse and repeat until I won. Because it didn't matter. I had 6 med kits. I had like 40 bottles of health medicine or 30 bottles of health medicine. I'm like, I'll be fine. Took all the hits.
My favorite thing about this is the boss design is she's a skeleton from her. It's not exactly her chest, but it's like from like her waist, and it's because it's explained that because Heather aborted God halfway through it being born.
Oh,
yeah, that's why it looks incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool and fucked up all at one time.
Yep.
God, Silent Hill. God.
Silent Hill is just a mess of psychological issues, and
it takes a lot of shots.
Before we get to the ending, we missed my favorite part, which I always believe is canon, which is the line of dialogue where you walk into a library and Vincent shows up, and she's like, I haven't got a chance to ask you what's with all the monsters around, and he like legit turns to look at her and goes, those people look like monsters to you? And she goes, wait, what? He goes, oh, I'm just fucking with you. Or is he?
Well, I mean, again, Silent Hill, they see it depends on what the city shows you. Like in Silent Hill 2, they really go into that where James sees things that are, because of what he did and his guilt.
He's a monster.
Yes. I hate him. When I replayed 2 and I knew the ending and I knew what happened, I hated every moment of that game.
I'm gonna die all the time now. Fuck you.
If it makes you feel better, Guy Seehee, the guy that voices James, also believes that 5G towers cause COVID. So that also helps too.
Oh, God.
Okay. Since you brought it up, I'm going to mention it. Well, one of my old jobs, I had a random person call me on the phone, and I'm a retail job. I was a printing place, so I have to take a call. And she's like, you need to call the city. I'm like, what? Okay, what are you talking about? They built a 5G tower right by where you're working, and you need to call the mayor and tell them that they need to get rid of it. You're right next to a bunch of nursing homes. They're giving people cancer. I'm like, why don't I can transfer you? Like, I can't. No, don't transfer me. You gotta help me call the city. You're giving you cancer. I'm like, I'm a store. I can't.
You gay though.
So she has this whole, and we talk for 3 minutes, and I'm like, can I help you with anything else? And then finally she's like, fine, bye. And I'm like, what do you want? Like, what do you think a guy at a random store, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to call corporate right now. I don't even have their number. I'm going to call corporate up. I'm going to call the vice president of the company and tell them what you said. Like, you really think I have that kind of connection? I'm in a store. I'm in a retail store. You just called a random, I was a manager of the store, yes, but still, you called a random guy working at a store. Like, what do you think is going to happen here? But then when you think, 5G is causing cancer and they're tracking you with vaccines, I got nothing for you. Because they're tracking you just fine. It's called your cell phone. I mean, hell, I'll probably get an ad now for 5G something on my phone when I pull Facebook in the next few minutes. Like, they're tracking me just fine. They don't need to put it, Yeah, it was pretty damn funny. And then I told my boss about it, and we both had a good laugh. So yeah, okay, I can get it. Well, he's an idiot. What you're trying to tell me?
Yeah.
So and then the game ends. So you want to talk about the endings?
My favorite thing before the ending is Heather has her real big moment of just crying, like breaking down, and it finally hit her. Like, my dad's dead.
Yeah.
And it really, the music really helps atone too. Whenever it like blacks out and like you hear the chung 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 chung. But if you replay the game. And if you replay the game and there's a invisible point counter, and the game doesn't help because whenever you replay the game a second time, you get an infinite submachine gun and an infinite flamethrower. And it helps to where you have to collect a certain number of points by killing enemies to get the bad ending, to which the game ends where it cuts open and Douglas, that's his name?
Yep, the detective.
Yeah, Douglas is dead, and Heather stabbed him to death, and her eyes are black, implying that she had let the darkness taken over, and she is now officially Alyssa.
Oh.
That's the bad ending.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
But you have to kill pretty much everything you come across. You have to take a lot of damage. You have to forgive at the confessional.
I thought it was say nothing.
No, say nothing gets you no point, but forgiving gets you 1,000. And you need at least 4,000 points to get the possession ending.
Okay. I don't even remember what ending I got.
Yeah, the normal ending is the regular ending. There's only like 2 endings.
Oh, okay. So it's not like...
Technically 3, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We forgot about the dog ending.
Yep.
Okay. So I got the regular ending then, where I think she goes and just goes with the cop
Douglas
with her.
is still alive. And she says something about blondes having more fun, which is really fucking weird.
And that dialogue at the end is a little cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, you just survived. You killed a god. And then you're like, oh my god, I think I'm going to stay blonde because isn't it like blondes are supposed to have more fun? Tee.
And no, this game I don't think has a dog ending. This game has a UFO ending.
Yeah.
Right.
Where also it looks really weird. I'm watching the UFO ending right now. Where I think you have to have New Game Plus, of course, to do it. And yeah, just literally, you go back home or something. It looks weird as hell.
You have to be wearing her Sailor Moon outfit.
And you have to kill a lot of enemies with the Heather beam.
31. I watched the speedrun.
31 before you get to the apartments.
That explains why I didn't get it that one time. Okay.
The wiki says 30, but I guess it's supposed to be 31. Supposedly on the speedrun of Awesome Games Done Quick that I watched.
Yep, at least 31.
Yeah, you can kill more, but you have to kill at least that many.
Yep. But
so you also get a lot of unlockables in this game too. If you beat the game in like different ways, like I know you get like a beam saber, and you get some bunch of cool things. I didn't look it up, but
Apparently, in the PS2 version, you can also get a Game Informer shirt. Shout out.
Nah, that's cool. That is pretty cool.
But yeah, there's a lot of really. Oh god, the UFO ending is so weird.
Well, Silent Hill always has a strange ending, though. They all do, I think.
Yeah, but this one is like you make it home to the apartments. Harry's still alive, talking with an alien, and James is lurking behind a curtain.
Yeah.
That's just strange.
And then these monsters were mean to me. And nope, we're gonna go fuck them up. So they take the UFOs and they blow up Silent Hill and then fly off.
Also, you can get a gold and silver pipe as one of the secrets. You can get the Heather beam and sexy beam, which is like she shoots beams out of her eyes, and the sexy beam she shoots hearts out of her eyes. Unlimited submachine gun, a flamethrower, and a beam saber. And there's also some other weird stuff that I think happens too. So yeah,
it's a fun time. One of these days, I'm actually going to go and unlock everything. Just take a whole day and just unlock everything.
What time did y'all meet this at?
I don't remember.
you didn't take a
Probably
picture.
close to like 7 something.
Shouldn't have been 7 because I got mine at 4 hours, and I was like, "That's weird." I didn't think that game was this short.
That does seem short.
Clear time 2 hours and 48 minutes for me.
Okay, save states.
That wasn't mostly saves that was mostly guide. That's mostly what it was, but yes, guide and mostly guide.
In like 2 days, I can't be bothered to remember times.
I only remember because I took a picture. I wouldn't.
I took a picture too.
I did not. I should have.
And I think this should bring us. Any last things you want to say before we go on to questions, comments, and memories? I have a few.
Yeah, I want to talk about Silent Hill Revelation.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and compare this to its infamously horrible movie.
You know, I think I know what I'm going to have to do here in next year is have you two come back and watch the terrible movie, and then we talk about it, scene by scene.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, feel
do
free to give like a brief thing, like some of the comparisons, though.
Basically, Silent Hill Revelation starts. It's roughly the plot of Silent Hill 3.
But what's
Rough.
different, Ken?
Well, everything important is different. There's
Are you telling me that they got the guy from Game of Thrones to play Vincent, who is also Heather's love interest?
yes. I'm also telling you that the other guy from Game of Thrones reprises his role from the first Silent Hill movie, even though they were nowhere near each other at the end of the first movie.
Because in the end of the first movie, she's in a different world, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Are you also telling me at the end of this movie, they not only set up not 1, not 2, but 3 potential sequels?
Yes. And I'm also telling you that none of them got made because this movie bombed so fucking hard.
I'm actually really upset because I do like the movies, and I was really hoping they would at least make one more sequel, and they didn't.
This movie, like, I like it, but I hate it. I
don't want to spoil it for Mike, but the only thing that saves the movie is the ending fight scene.
And how uncannily the girl they got to play Heather looks like Michelle Williams.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
You uncultured swine.
Oh, you're right. I made his budget back at least.
Yeah, that's always bad though.
No, I mean the budget was $20 million. It made $56 million, so it made some, just nowhere near what they wanted. So
yeah.
They didn't lose money, I'm sure, in the end. They just didn't make much money in the end. Because I'm sure it paid for itself. That probably paid for majority of the advertising. So, plus DVD sales and everything, they made their money. They're just assholes.
Now, to be fair, the reason why I'm not that hard on this movie too is when it came out, I went to go see it with my sister, who's also who's as big as a Silent Hill fan as I am. We saw it in 3D, and yes, and that movie is astounding in 3D. There's a scene where Heather walks out and there's ash falling from the sky, and it looks amazing. And then there's a scene where she's in a hallway and there's the spitters, the weird condom monster, comes out from the corner of your own eye, and you see it before she does, and it actually scared the living shit out of me.
Okay. So what he's saying is go back in time and see this movie in 3D, Ken.
No, I'm saying buy a 3D TV, and buy the movie in 3D and watch it.
Ha, fools you, I already have one, and I already have this in 3D. Ha!
Did you see it in 3D, though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you still hated it?
I mean, I loved it, but I hated it. Like, I have mixed emotions. Tune in next year when we'll talk about it.
Yeah, because I've been meaning to do that movie for a long time, and I just never did. So
I've been trying to talk you into it for a long time.
yeah. So yeah, okay, now I found 3 people because Mike wouldn't have done it, and Steph and the Stu didn't want to do it, so I kept putting it off. And now none of those people are mainly on the show. So
I love video game movies. I'll watch any video game movie.
it's not good.
But
Double Dragon.
That's on. We did that. It was terrible.
I know.
All right, I think that brings us to questions, memories, or comments. I got a couple. First one from the Silent Hill fan group Grimoire of Horror. Ian Garner, Be Honest to the Saint. No idea what that means. Valerie Morales, it's my favorite Silent Hill game. Okay. From Michelle Alma, search every room in this game. From Laura Rose, what podcast is this? It's games my mom found, which I did explain on there too. From Mike Barrett, I'll go ahead and tell you the reason behind this being my favorite Silent Hill game is because it has my favorite protagonist in it. From Alan Garcia, please pay the PS2 version for the love of God or find a PC version. Well, I played PS2 on PC. Does that count? And from Dave Cook, brilliant game, shortest of the Silent Hill games, but still great, nothing less. From Roger Martinez, it's bread, which I do want to talk about shortly. And from the official Laser Time community, I got 2. Well, okay, I got 2. From Matthew LeGrave, I bought a used copy of Silent Hill 2 from a local mom and pop game shop, and I intend to start it soon for the spooky season 2. I mentioned how I'm playing 3 for the spooky season. And from Todd Harrison, the one song from this game was used in the credits of the movie, of the first Silent Hill movie, so that's neat. And from the Silent Hill group, I got one where he said, from Corey Goldberg, I don't remember the PS2 or PC version looking that pixelated. But that's because I don't have very high settings on my PS2 emulator. And from the last group, I watched the entire Overblood Super replay. From Ron Huntone, can you give an exhaustive rundown on why the sword in Silent Hill 3 is the best sword in gaming? Joe, do you want to take that?
simple. See, the Japanese steel is folded over 3,000 times. And it is a wakizashi, being 2 feet, a 2-foot blade. Also, while Claudia was partying with the Order, Cheryl was at home, Halo was at home studying the blade. So, best weapon.
Okay.
I concur.
From Quentin Crowe, the room with the mirror still freaks me out to this day. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
From Andrew Gertis, one of the greatest things ever made. The subway sequence is next level storytelling that's never been matched in any game since. And from Dan Masculio, I rented this one weekend and it scared the shit out of me. I had never played a Silent Hill game before and picked it up because nothing else interested me, and I remember getting a good review from GI. I only made it through the mall for the weekend. I had it. And last comment from Lucas Adams. The mirror room is by far the scariest moment in any video game.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about that. Did the strategy guide for you say you had to go to like 2 or 3 different areas before you could actually activate the subway?
No,
Mm.
I don't think so. I don't remember. Maybe. I just don't remember. That's all I got. And I think we should go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Joe, why don't you go first?
Well, this was going to be a stack for me, but I would say Shelf, realizing how short this game could be. You could pick it up anytime, do New Game Plus, and do a run through it if you're bored, or even just showing someone the story, because the story for this is really good.
Yeah, it is. I did really enjoy the story. How about you, Ken?
Oh, this is absolutely going on the shelf for me. This game did a lot with the PS2. Like, this was one of the best looking PS2 games at the time. The cutscenes in this were amazing. The story and atmosphere, very immersive and just a joy. Shelf all day, every day.
Okay. And I'll go last. This I'm a little torn between. I wasn't sure how I felt, but I'm going to put it on the shelf because I did enjoy it as much as it freaked me out. I probably have no intention to replay it, but that's not the game. That's me. I don't like horror games, so I'm not going to go back to it, but I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I finally got to play a game that's been on my backlog for, years. I bought this game back in like 2004, 2005, probably from my first job when I bought Silent Hill 2 because I enjoyed Silent Hill 2 and I never got into it. I never got around to playing it, and I finally did now. So I'm happy. But yeah, it's a really good game. I definitely recommend that if you like horror games, play it if you haven't. I mean, it's unfortunately not easy to get a hold of anymore because, Konami. But you should play it.
Agreed.
And it's really too bad that Konami won't just re-release this. By the way, you can die in that mirror room, I think, if you stay
Yes.
too long.
It insta
You
kill.
can't.
I did not know that. I'm watching game over screens as we're talking, and because I stayed there for a while. When the room went dark, I left when the door was unlocked. But yeah, I guess you can stay there, and then the room will just kill you somehow.
Yeah.
That's
One thing that
Like-
I did. Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I was just going to say it can kill you like rooms do.
okay. And so this is going to go on the shelf. I'm really glad I played it, and I'm going to recommend it to people. I will definitely recommend it. As I was saying before, Konami is an asshole, and you can't really get this. So there are ways to get a hold of it. I mean, I don't recommend buying the PS2 version unless you're a collector off eBay, because I don't ever recommend paying $100 for a game off to some random guy that it's just like, oh, hey, thanks for this game I've been holding on to for 10 years. So play it any way you can. That's all I'm going to say. That's how I recommend playing. But I definitely recommend playing it. And I know people feel bad about emulation. I do to a degree, but when it comes to stuff that is like almost impossible to get a hold of, unless you're paying $100 some bucks on eBay, I'm like, you know what? Play it any way you can at that point, because you don't have a choice. I mean, the HD collection is cheap though, but that's because it's not as good. So Downpour is expensive.
Is it?
Let me see, $30. 30 is the
Wow.
lowest.
I think Downpour's on Game Pass, or it was like free to play on Xbox at some point. Their monthly gaming free thing.
Okay, that if you have it that way, that's great, because it is not. I get upset when games don't get re-released or not even on Steam or something. Like the only Silent Hill game on Steam is Silent Hill Homecoming.
Oh, really?
That's
oh,
it.
Shit.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, 3 is on PC, but you can't buy it.
2 is also on PC.
Oh, okay.
And 4 is also on the PC.
We don't talk about 4. None of us ever talk about 4 ever.
Which one?
I don't mind 4.
Oh, I never played 4. I want to play 4. Yeah, only Homecoming is the only one on Steam, and it's $40 usually, which is ridiculous because it's an old ass game. But
It's definitely not worth $40. That's for damn sure.
no, but the fact, I don't understand why Downpour is not on here.
Copyright? Maybe Korn doesn't like having
Oh,
this song.
it probably is because of Korn. I bet you're. No, I mean, I know you were kind of joking, but I bet you're right.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. I'm guessing.
This is why I don't like. I know Alan Wake ended up in that situation where it wasn't around for a long time. Yeah, you can't buy it anywhere because you go to the Microsoft Store. Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. This is making good radio. I'm clicking on it. I mean, I'll edit out. Yeah, you can look at it on the Microsoft Store, but you can't buy it.
Which game is it?
Downpour.
Oh, that's weird.
I found it. I clicked on it, but I can't buy it. Maybe let me see. Let me change my birthday. Yeah,
Maybe it's
just
trying
not there.
to save you. Maybe it's trying to save you.
I own Downpour, so I hope I do, because that game is not. Yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't like how when games disappear from the internet, when in this day and age, re-release stuff, resell it, especially things that are made later, where I feel like it's not that hard. I feel like I know it's not as simple as porting, and I know that I'm not like, oh, you just throw it on a disc and port it out, but still, Konami, just find a way. These are classic games; these really should be out there in the world still.
Given Konami's recent releases of the Contra collection and the various different versions of Castlevanias that they're putting back out there, there's at least hope that someday they will release the Silent Hill collection.
Oh yeah, I'm 100% going to buy that Advanced collection once it goes on sale on Steam. I mean, I have access to all those games, but I want to support them because I want them to make more.
So I'm not gonna lie. I saw recently that the Konami Casino, the slot machine app, got a Silent Hill slot machine, and I played it, and I've never felt like a deeper knife wound in my back than playing that thing, because the game it's Heather, and it plays the opening the entire time. It doesn't play the whole song. It just plays that opening, the da-na-na-na. And then for some reason, when you hit jackpots, Heather does not fight monsters from Silent Hill 3. She fights monsters from Silent Hill Downpour. So the two monsters that show up is the weird one that you fight in the prison that has a shank for a hand, and then when you hit the big jackpot, the boogeyman pops out, the big dude with the fucking sledgehammer.
Don't you pick things from I guess it was the most recent one, so they probably had the models are easier to use.
Then why is Heather in there? It's ridiculous, and it makes
Because Heather is more known.
I guess.
Heather is more of the standout Silent Hill character, I think, even though she's only in this game. But I think she's still more standout. Well, she was the one that was in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Pyramid Head, too, which made no sense, but, I get it.
Don't even get me started with Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head, we all love him so.
Pyramid Head needs to stop being in things that aren't Silent Hill 2.
Agreed.
No, I think Dead by Daylight they did good with him. I think he's a very interesting, decent character to play and add. Plus, it's the whole concept of for Dead by Daylight. I'll give Konami a round of applause for that because it has the survivor characters from 3, the monster characters from 2, and the map is from Silent Hill 1. So they used all 3 canon games.
That's cool.
Oh,
Okay.
I might have to pick that one up then.
And you want to do it before it goes away? Because I know the Stranger Things Dead by Daylight stuff went away because, licensing.
Yeah.
All right. Any last things that you want to say that we might have forgotten before we go to plugs? Okay. I'll take that as a no. And I do want to mention next week's game is going to be Prince of Persia Sands of Time because we are finally wrapping up Spooktober. I'm so happy. And if you want to hear our other Silent Hill episodes, go check out Silent Hill 2, Born from a Wish, mini number 4, Silent Hill 2, episode 80, Silent Hill Origins, episode 42, Silent Hill the film episode 1, and Silent Hill, the original PS1 game, episode 2. Check those out if you want to hear more Silent Hill reviews. And I do want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, which is, you might have heard you are hearing for the first time from Helena Hellhatsphere. We have a new intro and outro, so definitely go check her out. You'll see a link to her TikTok in the show notes. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube. Also, just audio, but we're on YouTube. Want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MCU stuff with me, which is done recording. And you can check out his podcast, The Gamer Looks at 40, so definitely go find that. And we have a Patreon. For as little as $1, you can vote in our Patreon. So definitely go do that and help us out. And we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
So long.
I'm trapped forever in Silent Hill.